Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're 80 years old. Your hair is white, your hands move a little slower than they used to, but your mind is sharp and it remembers everything. Now think about the decision you're struggling with right now. Maybe it's the job you're scared to quit, the person you're afraid to walk away from, or the dream you keep pushing to someday. Now ask yourself one simple question. What would the 80-year-old version of you say about it? Would they be proud of the choice you're making today? Or would they quietly wish you had been just a little braver? Because the truth is, your 80-year-old self might already know the answer. There is a decision-making tool so simple, yet so powerful, that it can cut through fear, overthinking, and self-doubt in seconds. It's called the 80-year test. And this isn't just motivational advice, it's a real decision framework used by some of the most successful people in the world. Jeff Bezos used a version of this idea when he decided to leave a high-paying Wall Street job to start a small online bookstore that later became Amazon. The idea is simple. Whenever you're facing a big decision, imagine yourself at 80 years old, looking back on your life. Then ask yourself one powerful question. Will I regret not doing this more than I would regret trying and failing? That's it. One question, but it can change everything. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman discovered something fascinating about how our minds work. He explained that we actually have two versions of ourselves. The first is the experiencing self. This is the version of you that lives in the moment. It feels stress, fear, embarrassment, and excitement. But there is also another version of you, the remembering self. This version doesn't live in the moment. Instead, it tells the story of your life. And one day, when you're 80 years old, that remembering self is the only one left. And here's the surprising truth. The remembering self doesn't hate failure. It doesn't hate mistakes. It doesn't even hate embarrassment. What it hates the most is regret. Studies show that people are far more likely to regret the things they didn't do than the things they tried and failed at. Because we usually forgive our mistakes, but we rarely forgive ourselves for never trying. So when you're scared to start that business, your 80-year-old self isn't worried about failure. They're worried about never knowing what could have happened. When you're too afraid to tell someone you love them, your future self won't care about pride. They'll care about the moment you missed. And when you keep waiting for the perfect time to start something important, your 80-year-old self already knows the truth. There was never a perfect time. There was only now. So how do you actually use the 80-year test in real life? It's simple. Step 1, name the decision. Be specific. Don't say, my future. Ask the real question. Should I change careers? Should I move to a new city? Should I start that YouTube channel? Step 2, fast forward your life. Picture yourself at 80 years old, white hair, a slower pace, maybe sitting somewhere quiet on a porch or in a garden. Really imagine it. Step 3, ask yourself the regret question. When you're 80 and looking back at this moment, will you regret playing it safe? Or will you regret not trying? Now, this doesn't mean you should always take the risky path. Sometimes the wiser choice is stability. Sometimes protecting your family or your peace is the right decision. The point of the 80-year test isn't recklessness, it's clarity. It helps you make choices based on wisdom instead of fear. Jeff Bezos used this exact thinking when he left his secure job in finance. He called it the Regret Minimization Framework. He imagined himself at 80 years old and asked a simple question. Would he regret trying to build an internet company? Or would he regret never trying at all? That question changed his life. Steve Jobs had a similar philosophy. He once said that remembering he would die someday helped him make the most important decisions in life. Because when you realize time is limited, fear starts to lose its power. So here's something to think about. Right now, there's probably one decision in your life that keeps coming back, the one you keep avoiding, the one you keep telling yourself you'll deal with later. You already know what it is. Now imagine you're 80 years old. You're looking back at this exact moment. What do you wish you had done? Whatever that answer is, start moving toward it. And remember,
One day, your life will become a story. Make sure it's one you'll be proud to remember.